for us, it's a daily thing.
It's every day, right?
This is Mammoth Daily
We're going to take you inside the locker room
with Mike Fulta.
We want this show to be about the fans, and we want this show to be driven by our Utah Mammoth community.
And Adrian Denny.
Fans can submit what they want to hear us talk about, what they want to hear Utah weigh in on. It's all going to be here.
Here's Mike and AD with you.
Utahns, countrymen, lend me your ears.
Right here on Mammoth Daily.
Big news across Mammoth Daily. Adrian Daniil But gets called up from the Tucson Roadrunners and appears poised to make his NHL debut potentially tonight in Anaheim as the Utah Mammoth take on the Anaheim Ducks in the second matchup of the season between the two. Mike Fulta and Adrian Denny, your Hockey Night in Utah radio crew, here with you on Mammoth Daily. And AD, we weren't sure when Daniil was going to get the call, but it seems like now is the time, with the group having lost 4 straight in regulation, coming off of a disheartening 6-3 loss at the hands of the San Jose Sharks. Changes are in order, and roster changes at the forefront of that with the addition of Daniil But. And then we also have Demetri Simichev being sent down to Tucson to play a little bit more, touch the puck a little bit more, and be a big piece for the Roadrunners in the AHL.
Yeah, Mike, is this going to be one of those things? Where were you when you saw the news that Daniil But got called up? I was just about ready to get out of my car to go get a haircut. And
looks great, by the way.
Thank you. It was a smooth cut. I'm happy with it, and
what
ready
size
to roll
bowl did
into
you use?
December. just scissors for me, Mike. Just a scissor cut. No blades, no razors, just straight scissors.
Well, you look perfect for radio, AD, as you always do. But big start to the year for Daniil But in his first North American season, coming over from the Continental Hockey League, the KHL. That's one of the top leagues in the world over in Russia. And then he comes over to another very good pro league in the AHL, has a pretty good training camp with the Mammoth, a good preseason. And so far, 17 points in 19 games with the Tucson Roadrunners, had a hat trick earlier in the year. Adrian, he was scoring a lot of power play goals as well. And you have a better beat on But's progress than I do, just because of your Tucson connections. But what have you heard about Daniil But's progression and what we should be looking for from the former 12th overall pick?
All great things, Mike, and all things that I think can really help this Mammoth group right now as they get ready to take on the Anaheim Ducks here on this Wednesday night for Game 4 of this 6-game road trip. He likes to possess the puck in the offensive end. He likes to shoot. He's a shooter. He's great at recovering pucks in those tough areas. And we know about his size, so that's the skill part. But he's had some swagger in Tucson. He's got some confidence. I've heard we'll have to wait for our social and content team for walk-in pics later today. I've heard he loves to wear his sunglasses. So watch out for Daniil But. Biggest thing, for every player coming up, biggest adjustment, probably going to be the speed of the National Hockey League. But this is a guy I've been so excited about, Mike, for when the time comes, because I think he possesses so many capabilities that can help this team, that are what this team is looking for, and can really push him along and be a big part of it. And the biggest thing is he ready to go? Is he 100% ready? Is this a thing we can put him on the roster and know that the kid is in a position to succeed for himself and to help the team?
Yeah, and if you're new to our Mammoth family, or if you haven't followed since the preseason or training camp when we had But in Salt Lake City, let's just kind of reset who Daniil But is a little bit. He's 6'5". He's 20 years old. He's incredibly skilled, as Adrian was saying. 12th overall pick from 2023, 6 picks behind his countryman, Demetri Simichev, who, by the way, also likes to wear the sunglasses inside. They both are showing the fashion. Really, the three Russians we've seen so far, or at least we've heard about, Sergachev, Simichev, and now But, all very fashion forward. So excited to see these walk-in pictures for Daniil But from our great content team. But Adrian, we saw him in the preseason, and what stands out is the skill and the shot right off the page. He scored a couple of beautiful goals, and at least one of them was from distance as well. Like, you're not supposed to score from there, but he has that good of a shot. And then what stood out to me as well was how difficult he was to play against, just because he's so big and he can skate. He can move really well, and he's just like this giant man of war jellyfish out there that you can't get away from. I think of, like, this will be another Finding Nemo reference. I think this is 2 within 3 episodes for me, but like Nemo and Dory swimming through the jellyfish forest. Remember that? Like, they can't get away from the tentacles, and that's what it felt like with the opposition trying to carry the puck past him or win a battle against him. You can't get away because he has such a big reach and can move his feet so well. But I'm incredibly excited to see him on the ice. And we heard from general manager Bill Armstrong that Daniil But is going to be playing with Logan Cooley and Dylan Guenther. He said as much in a radio interview on KSL with Scotty and Hands yesterday during practice. And so he's not just getting an opportunity to play, he's going to be able to play in the top 6 with some really good players.
And Bill Armstrong's a guy who's made a point to, inform folks that the players are okay to bake in the AHL. You can never get enough time in the AHL, and there's no need to rush guys up. And for this team right here, it's comes at a good time. You're looking for a spark, you're looking for something. And I loved when he said with Hans and Scotty that he was going to be playing with Dylan Guenther and Logan Cooley. And, he was a guy that was stealthily, scouted by Bill and his team. Again, we've talked about it, but quickly for our new viewers on the Utah Mammoth YouTube page and those just checking it out on Apple, Spotify, and SCG Plus, like, they were scouting him and Demetri Simichev right as the Russia-Ukraine conflict started. You couldn't get over there to watch guys, and they were able to get into Belarus, Kazakhstan, and be one of only 2 teams to see him before the draft. The New Jersey Devils were the other. So it's been a kid from last summer. I thought, okay, if one of our prospects makes the team, is on the roster, this is the one that has the chance to make the biggest impact with the group, just with his size and his skill and the way I think he was drafted lower than what he might have been if people had seen him.
And there are a lot of really good prospects for this Utah Mammoth organization that we're going to see over the coming years that are scheduled to be part of Utah's championship window as this team continues to ascend. Guys like Tij Iginla and Caleb Denoye are part of that, among many, many others. Daniil But is an integral part of Utah's build towards a championship as well. He is penciled in as one of the, hopefully top 6 wingers that you are going to have, one of the 4 top 6 wingers that you're going to have when this team is in its championship form, which is probably down the road, right? You're probably not looking at a cup contender if you're looking at Utah's roster right now. But as this team builds out to be a cup contender in the prime of Cooley and Guenther and Keller and these guys ahead, Sergachev, like, Daniil But is slated to be a part of that as well. And yeah, I mean, it's going to be really cool. And he's got one of his countrymen, Mikhail Sergachev, in the room with him. And Daniil doesn't speak great English. He'll fight his way through it. He's done some media availability. He's relatively limited with the English, but getting better from what we've heard. We know his buddy Demetri Simichev, who he played with in the KHL, We know his buddy is pretty good and picked it up pretty fast through Instagram and what have you. But last year in the KHL, Adrian, 9 goals and 19 assists on a championship team for Daniil But. It doesn't seem like a lot through 50-something games. It's hard to score in the KHL, and it's hard to score in a lot of those European leagues. And those are pretty darn good numbers for a teenager on a team where there's a lot of other more productive players that are going to get first power play looks and what have you. I did want to mention we should expect to see But on the second power play unit. Watching practice yesterday, it looked like Daniil was on the wing, I believe it was, on the second power play unit. So should expect to see that as well. But he's being brought up to be a difference maker. He was certainly that, leading Tucson in scoring at the time of his call up, and it's a big boost for a group that needs one right now.
And Mike, the reason I'm so excited about it is you mentioned the other great prospects that we have, but for me, Daniil But has always been the one thing that we don't have. That
Right.
6'4", 6'5", 6'6" body with offensive skill that has the skill to shoot the puck, but also can get down low, but has creativity and is going to bang people. And Tage Thompson is who Bill compared him to after signing him to that 3-year entry-level contract, a 40-goal scorer in the NHL. You want to hear from head coach Andre Tourigny from yesterday after practice, just on the
Yes.
recall here of Daniil But.
He's playing well. He played good offensively, but as well defensively. He's really responsible. He has good pace in his game, and he works really, really hard. So for us, those are fundamentals for us: the effort, the battle level, those kind of thing. And he did a really good job with Tucson.
Thumbs up from Bear. Gotta love hearing that. Got to see him at practice. Looked like he was right in the middle of everything, and they were doing a lot of speed drills, a lot of rush drills yesterday at the Duck Pond at Honda Center, getting ready for tonight's game. And gosh, like when he's skating down on a 2-on-1, he's shooting that thing. I mean, he is making no bones about it. And there was one he scored on Veggie where Nick Olczyk and I looked at each other because he shot it on a 2-on-1. So it was a 2-on-0. The 2-on-0, so you have time, right? You got all the time in the world. And the drill was designed to get guys going straight to the net, being hard to the net. Don't make any, fluffy plays. Just one guy shoots it, the other guy's going right to the back post, going to the crease. And Daniil shot it from like the top of the right face-off circle and beat Veggie up high. It was barred down. It was an unbelievable shot. It was probably the face-off dot, maybe not top of the circle, but it was like he could have just walked in and sent one across for an easy backdoor tap in, but he let it rip from distance. And it's going to be fun watching him play. I'm curious to see what the chemistry is like with Gunther and Cooley. I don't believe we saw them as a line, did we, in the preseason, AD?
No, we didn't. So, you put him out there, and Mike, you mentioned his shot. We watched some of his goals for the fans on the Utah Mammoth YouTube page a few moments ago that Daniil But had scored for the Roadrunners. But as I watched him playing in Tucson early this season, the guy will have the puck and he'll just shoot it. Like, you're like, oh, I didn't expect that. Don't usually see people shoot from there. Oh, he just scored. So watch out for that from Daniil But. And you kind of referenced it right there, coming back up ice on the
so
2-on-1.
That's 3 guys in your top 6 that all of a sudden that are new within the last year or two that have that shoot first mentality where you have a lot of playmakers in the top 6 before and still there, but like you think of Keller and Schmaltz, their first instinct is to look for each other as opposed to shoot the puck in a lot of instances, and a lot of times that works out. They create chances off the cycle, and they're elite passers with the puck. But guys like Gunther, Peterka, and But are much more goal scorers, much more shoot first mentality. And I think that's what this team needs. Now, part of that is that this group's going to have to be able to get loose pucks around the net. And I do think that is something that Daniil But can bring to the table with his frame and with his drive as a big, strong, almost a power forward type winger. But we should talk some Simichev as well here. AD Demetri gets sent down for the first time this year. Had a great camp, made the team out of camp. We saw him get healthy scratched a couple weeks ago for the first time. Looked like he was in a rotation, started playing a little bit less, and now is going to get a chance in Tucson to play a lot, to play in every single situation, to be one of their top guys with the Roadrunners. And it's a good test to see how he responds down at the AHL level, but it's probably better for his development than playing, 10, 12 minutes a night on the back end for Utah.
It's hard playing D in the NHL, Mike, which is why we were so pleasantly surprised with his training camp and how he played early this season. And, as we were watching Maverick Lamoureux last year in the NHL, and Bear told us, you asked me about him in 3 weeks, ask me about him in a month, because playing every night in the NHL, especially for a young defenseman, it's something that you grow into. So Mav's been in Tucson. He got that early call up. And there's no shame in being in the AHL. And we heard from Andre Tourigny on Demetri Simichev and part of the thought process and getting him back down to the Roadrunners to play some minutes.
Sima had a really good training camp, a really good start of the season, and then for different reason, focus shift a little bit, try to do more, and that lead to some stuff he needs to clean up in his game, and that affect his confidence a lot. So Sima will be a really good player for our team. He's an important part of our organization for many, many, many years. But at this point, it was tough for him to reboot, and we tried different things. We talk, we switched pairing, and then we came scratching him and hoping to help him with positive reinforcement and stuff like that. And it was just not getting back at where he was. So hoping he's going to Tucson like we did with other player before, go back to his basic, go back at being physical, at closing quickly, at moving the puck well, getting his confidence back, and he's like I said, an important part of our team moving forward. We believe in him a lot.
Yeah, I think that was a nice, succinct way of boxing that up from Bear, and it's been a great start for Demetri Simichev, and you obviously see like this guy is the future. Like he's another one of those guys who is going to be part of Utah's championship runs these next couple of years. Just not ready quite yet for the workload and the schedule, to be honest, but the workload that is the NHL. And you also have to factor in how competitive the Mammoth back end is. I mean, you have guys like, Olli Mata and Nick DeSimone that are not in the lineup some nights because of the bodies that you do have. And not a bad thing at all for Simichev to go down and get some touches and hopefully be able to make some more plays as well offensively and move the puck a little bit more. He was very, I don't want to say cautious, but he was just so defensive minded this whole time with the Mammoth, which was great. But him being able to make some more plays, I think will be great for his development.
And guys that have played in the NHL for significant amounts of time and have gone down there and have come back up include Dylan Guenther, Barrett Hayton, Lawson Krause early on, went down to the American Hockey League. We mentioned Maverick Lamoureux coming up early last year before he got hurt. So I think it's win-win for everybody. Great taste of the NHL. Really demonstrated how special he's going to be as a player and as part of this organization's future.
Well, great stuff on the two young guys. We do want to talk about Anaheim, but let's do that in the third period. Let's get to an odd man rush that we had with Nick DeSimone. Now, I took a shift off a couple weeks back. I'm not going to lie. I made a change. I changed on the back check, which you're never supposed to do. I saw Adrian streaming up the ice. Actually, for us, it would be on a 2-on-1. I changed on a 2-on-1, which I don't know why anyone would do, but I saw Adrian up there and I left him out to dry. Well, this time, favor is returned because it's just me and Nick DeSimone on the road. We recorded it in San Jose, where Nick spent a good part of his career. Never played with the Sharks, but with the San Jose Barracuda for several years. And this is a conversation that is only 5 or so-ish minutes long. It is probably a full podcast episode in and of itself for another day, because Nick has such a great story to the NHL, and you'll hear it in the interview. There is so much underneath the surface of what he revealed to me in this interview. But we love talking with Nick. He's carved out a role for himself in Utah dating back to last year when he was a waiver claim. And we talk a little bit about just a little touch on his journey, and then we talk about this year and Utah's defensive prowess. So enjoy our Odd Man Rush that's coming up with Nick DeSimone right after this on Mammoth Daily.
Time for the Odd Man Rush.
We're here on our Wednesday Odd Man Rush with Nick DeSimone. And Nick, you know my radio partner, Adrian Denny. He'll interview you from time to time, but we like to ask guys on this segment, if me and Adrian are coming down on a 2-on-1 and you're the last man back, how you playing that? Who's the shooter?
So hard. Pressuring right away, whoever's got the puck. Jumping.
Can go right around
Put you right in panic mode.
That would take 0 seconds to happen. But we're here in San Jose, an area where you spent the first several years of your pro career. How impactful and how formative were those first 4 seasons playing in the American Hockey League here?
Yeah, it was great. I love my time in San Jose, and played with some great players, had some great captains, great coaches. Kind of really turned me into a pro. I learned, how to deal with the day-to-day, playing a lot of games coming from college. So kind of adjusting to the pro game. Learned a lot about myself. Learning how to live kind of away from the rink in pro and everything. So yeah, it's some good memories, some highs and lows, but a good part of my journey.
It took you, 4 or 5 years before you played your first NHL game? Is that what it was?
7 maybe.
Oh, I was going to give you the benefit of the doubt here.
Appreciate
but when you got that first NHL game, what was the feeling? Was it euphoria? Was it relief? How did that go down for you internally?
It's a good question. Honestly, I think this life and career, everything happened so fast that obviously I didn't take it for granted. I think it was really special for my family. My mom, dad, brother, sister, and my now wife. She's been through some struggles, so kind of celebrating that with everybody, I think, was the coolest part. But I haven't really kind of taken a step back and thought about first game, goal, whatever, stuff like that. I feel like this life just kind of goes too fast, and when you start thinking about the past, and present starts going no good. So really just kind of looking towards what I can build on for the rest of my career and tomorrow, rather than kind of looking back. I'm sure when I'm all done, I'll get a big cube and a whiskey and think about it maybe.
There's plenty of time to reflect later. So let's accelerate a little bit further along and to at least the present season. And one of our favorite moments of the season so far was when you get that goal against your hometown team, the Buffalo Sabres, at the Delta Center. What was that goal like for you? Pretty big celly there too. That was fun to see.
Blackout, yeah. Yeah, honestly, I think just getting a win too. Trying to create a little momentum, within our season, and getting a win that we needed at that point in time. And I mean, it's great to score against Buffalo and all that, and kind of giving them one. But yeah, I mean, it was kind of one of those, midnight, you flush it and kind of turn to the next day. But yeah, it was, that'll be a fun memory at some point.
We've seen you score a few goals now. Is that the celebration for all of them? Because you do seem to kind of lose yourself within the moment in a good way, where there's so much passion. You slam into the glass or something like that, and there's a big bear hug at the end of it.
Yeah, I think I'm a pretty stoic person, so but but when especially at home, the crowd and everything, and score a big goal, kind of just black out a little bit. But yeah, I guess it's kind of uncharacteristic of me.
What has been this group's strength as a defense core so far this season? Because there's been, for the most part, really good underlying numbers. You look at the chances given up, the high danger chances given up, the lack of shots against, things like that. There's some really good defensive nights you guys have strung together. What has been the top two things you think as a group on the back end?
I think experience is probably one. You got a guy like a lot of guys with cups back there, right? So you got Colsey, Sergey, Matsy, and then just a lot of games between a lot of guys, and a lot of guys that have been in a lot of different experiences and kind of know how to handle things. So I think experience is one, and just the way we play. It's quick, it's hard. It's usually pretty simple. So I think when you're clicking with your partner, and then we kind of domino, and all three pairs are rolling, that's when we're at our best.
You've been with Ian Cole on a pair a little bit here. How much does he talk out there?
Yeah, a lot, which is great. He's very vocal. We talk about kind of something that happened on the shift, or, in the shift, talking, where to move the puck, whose guys, what. So, I love that. I feel like I'm talking a lot too, so it's nice not to be the one talking all the time. Yeah. And then obviously Colsey carries a weight, when he talks, you listen. So, yeah, I love when he's talking.
Nick, we, as always, appreciate the time. We look forward to seeing you back out there.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
This is Mammoth Daily.
Well, thank you to Nick DeSimone for joining us on our Odd Man Rush. AD, with Nick saying that he would pressure the puck right away, if I saw that guy bearing down on me on the ice, I think I'd flip it into the bench. I would run down the hallway, and you'd never see me again.
That is a motor coming at you, Mike, with some force, and folks know us and our physics analogies here on Mammoth Daily on Hockey Night in Utah. I might have changed because I had to go get a haircut, Mike, as I told everybody at the top of the show. But gosh, it was almost just Nick skating around out there.
Should give a shout out to our good friend Mammoth Almanac on Twitter, Jerry, who has a Nick DeSimone jersey, like a blue, like a mountain blue Nick DeSimone jersey, which you don't see a ton of at the Delta Center. And he's trying to start a trend calling, I don't know, DeSimone fans or Utah fans the DeSimoniacs, I guess. Simoniac, I think, is a member of the clergy, from my understanding. But Jerry trying to start a trend, so feel free to jump on if you'd like. Always great to talk with our good friend Mammoth Almanac. But yeah, he's a big Calgary fan, and Nick DeSimone made his NHL debut with the Calgary Flames, and so he had to get a Nick DeSimone jersey. And so if you ever see a blue 57 walking around the Delta Center, it's probably our friend Jerry.
Well, you mentioned the association with Nick DeSimone, and my first thought, Mike, was, oh, he must have an affinity for Western New York, because people from that area are very loyal and very connected to their native home territories. So, but the Calgary thing, that works too.
And I have received approval from Nick on my wing choice. When we went to Buffalo last, I went to Bar Bill. There's several famous ones. Mm-hmm. Duff's. I've been to Duff's, and I could tell you, like, I'm not being paid by Bar Bill or Gabriel's Gate or anybody else, but I can tell you that Duff's, those are not real buffalo wings. Duff's is the Applebee's of buffalo chicken wings. I went there once. It was disappointing. There's no atmosphere. I got nothing out of it. Like, I felt like I ordered wings at like an Applebee's, like it was not enjoyable. I went to Bar Bill with some good friends from college. Shout out Ryan and Bridget. We had to wait on like a Monday night, Adrian. We had to wait for 45 minutes to get in, which made me salivate all the more. And then when we did get in, the wings were fantastic. It was a great experience. But Bar Bill is my suggestion, and Nick approved. He's like, "Yeah, you're good. You went to a good one."
Yeah, that's why I go to Chili's, Mike. Chili's for my no Applebee's for me either. I'm going to Chili's.
I there's no way you like spicy food, Adrian. There's no way.
No, I like I like honey barbecue and
Yeah.
the sweet sauces with my ranch.
Ranch, good. That's that was the hex I threw on Buffalo to get us 5 straight goals was to eat it with ranch instead of blue cheese. But don't tell my Buffalo friends I said that because they are very staunch on that. But AD, we'd be remiss here in the third period if we don't get to setting the table for our game tonight against the Anaheim Ducks, a rematch between two teams that saw each other back on the 17th of November at the Honda Center. We're right back at the Honda Center, and it is a radio exclusive. We have our good friends from TNT broadcasting the game on TV, but if you want to have a Utah-centered broadcast, you can tune into myself, Adrian, and Nick Olchek on Hockey Night in Utah. We got Nicky O with us, so that's going to be a ton of fun. He always comes up with like the funniest ways to describe plays, describe players, and I think he's cooking up some pretty good stuff for tonight.
Oh, Nick is preparing for the broadcast as he always does. But as Nick told us, when he's doing between the benches, when he's doing color, when he's doing radio, there's a completely different way that he prepares for each game. So stay tuned, folks. Nick Olchek and Mike will have the call at the late face-off tonight from Anaheim. We'll be on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone, our flagship in Salt Lake City, and can't wait to have everybody join us. And the audience, Mike, all these TNT and subscription services, not everybody has those anymore, right?
Yeah.
So you don't have it, don't fret. We've got it for you on the radio
for free, and it will stay that way. All you need is a radio or KSL app, and the NHL app will also get you where you need to go. The KSL app is great because it has the whole pregame on there, right, AD? NHL app cuts you off 30 minutes early or 30 minutes late.
Yep. Yeah, NHL app starts us 30 minutes before. So yeah, if you don't have TNT, and if you do, great, they do a great job. But if you don't have that subscription, us on the radio or the app, and then you can follow Utah Mammoth on Twitter or X and see all the best of the highlights coming right through that way with our calls potentially.
Yeah, our producer Will does a great job of getting those over to our social media team. But let's talk some hockey here, AD, setting up the game for tonight. Mammoth lost 3-2 in overtime. The last time that they saw the Ducks, that was the second straight of 3 straight 3-2 overtime losses. First it was the Islanders, then it was Anaheim, then it was San Jose. The Mammoth led the game late into the third period. This was the game where Troy Terry tied it with just 4 seconds left to force OT. And then Olin Zellweger scored in overtime. Utah didn't really get the puck in this. Or no, was this the game, AD, where we had a turnover? It went back the other way. They all blend together for me. I think New York was the game where Mammoth didn't have the puck. And I believe the Ducks forced a turnover, and it was Olin Zellweger. I remember that, who scored the winner. But the Mammoth struggling to find offense after Cooley gave Utah a 2-1 lead. Only 2 shots over the last 10 minutes of the game for Utah after they took a 2-1 lead. So the offense sputtered, and they couldn't stretch the lead, which would have gotten them a win in regulation.
Yeah, it was close. You had the lead. Logan Cooley gave the Mammoth that 2-1 lead, and Ducks tying it up late. As you rate games this year, that might have been the biggest heartbreak, giving up a goal in the final 5 seconds. But get them tonight. And, Mike, Anaheim, they're a skilled offensive team. They give up a lot of high danger scoring chances. Lukasz Dostal, their goaltender, is out of the lineup. But for the Mammoth, I think, Mike, it's just mind your own business and focus on yourselves, and you'll be in good shape here. But Ducks are playing great hockey. They've scored 3 or more goals in 6 of 7 and in 16 of 21. They've allowed 3+ in 11 of 16 games. You got to manufacture your scoring chances. You have to work. You have to find a way to generate that offense. But they've played well. So I think it's a great test. It's a great matchup for Utah, Mike, to go in and get it back and rolling again.
I should have introduced them as the Pacific Division leading Anaheim Ducks, which is not something that we were even considering saying, thinking about the likes of Edmonton, Vegas, and LA. But here we are. Ducks lead the Pacific Division as we record this right now. One thing that I had on my notes from the last time we met Anaheim, and that's still relatively true in this matchup, is that this team, they don't give up leads very much. Now, they've done it twice since they played Utah, but the last time that the Ducks and the Mammoth met, at that time, Anaheim had not had a single blown lead loss this season. Now, again, they've done it twice since November 17th. They blew a lead to Ottawa. They were up 3-0 against Chicago before they gave up 5 straight. So that stat has flipped a little bit, but that's one of my biggest indicators for a team that's graduating from pretender to contender is how well can you protect leads and finish a game with 2 points when you are in the driver's seat.
It's what you saw from the Mammoth during that 7-game winning streak, Mike, finding ways to hold on. And that's the difference in it. And, for the Mammoth is as I said, just a great test with Anaheim, but stuff in the NHL happens in spurts, Mike. We saw it with Utah's PK that allowed 1 power play goal through November. Then all of a sudden they allowed 4 in 2 games. The one they allowed came in overtime to San Jose. And, Chicago coming back down 3-0 against the Ducks on Sunday night. Sometimes you haven't blown a lead in a while and stuff starts to come in spurts. We hope we're not trailing. We would love that, Mike, to be able to play from ahead and manage the game that way. But should it come to that, do know that they have blown a 3-0 lead in the last 5 nights.
That's a great little just in case clause right there. Nice fine print added to our contract for tonight. Anaheim 9-1-0 when they score the first goal so far this year. So a good first period, very important for the Mammoth. Utah has traditionally been pretty good in the first period, even going back to last year, but especially this year, first periods have been one of the Mammoth's best. You can't mention the Anaheim Ducks without mentioning Leo Carlsson. We had Macklin Celebrini the other night for San Jose, who's just elevated his game to a star level, and Leo Carlsson has done the same thing. And this kid has been coming for a while now, Adrian. He was good since he entered the league. They kind of eased him in his first year, only played a little over 50 games, didn't have a full workload. But now he is one of the elite players in the league, and as we sit, is top 5 in scoring right now, leads Anaheim in points. And much like Celebrini and the Sharks, when Carlsson gets rolling with Gauthier up the ice and Terry or whoever he may be playing with, they are scary off the rush. And that's how they scored against Utah, their first goal in the first period last time.
Yeah, Leo Carlsson had multiple points in St. Louis on Monday, a 4-1 win against the Blues as they bounced back after that loss to Chicago. Back at Seneca, Mike, is a kid that was drafted 3rd overall in 2024. He's their 4th leading scorer. He's got 20 points in 26 games. You mentioned Cutter Gauthier, 5th overall selected in 2022 by Philadelphia. They've got Troy Terry, who's been there for a while. So they've got a lot of young skill, and we see it in the amount of goals that they put up. But holy smokes, you got a 2nd overall pick in Carlsson, a 5th overall pick in Gauthier, and a 3rd overall pick in Seneca, all in the last 4 years, 3 of your top 4 leading scorers.
And that's a great point to bring up, the draft picks, because we think of Utah as ahead of Anaheim in the rebuild process, although maybe that's not true. But look at the teams that have those elite high-end draft picks. Like not just first-round picks. I mean like top 5 draft picks. The Sharks have a bunch of them. Smith, Celebrini, Eklund was 7. Misa, although he's not playing a bunch. Dickinson was a high draft pick, 6th overall, I want to say, for San Jose. But they have a bunch of like top 10 draft picks. Utah has Cooley, Gunther, Simichev, and But, who we haven't seen yet. But But was a 12th rounder. It's a little bit further down. And
12th overall.
sorry, yes, not 12th rounder. 12th overall. And
Wrong podcast. Tyson Nash is over there on the Nash cast. Folks.
I didn't
Wrong
want to
podcast.
say it. I didn't want.
That's what you're looking for.
I am sticking up for my NASCAST partner. He was a 10th rounder, Adrian. You should know better. Come on. He was a high draft pick, 10th rounder. But the point I'm trying to make is Utah doesn't have as many of those top 5 picks in the lineup as the Ducks and as the Sharks. And that's the skill that we're seeing kind of coming to roost a little bit here for those teams. And I think Utah's roster is better top to bottom than both of those teams, you could argue. But those high-end guys, a Celebrini, that accelerates a rebuild, right? And Logan Cooley's incredible, Dylan Gunther's incredible, but so are Celebrini and Smith and Carlson. Like, those guys have more points than our guys at this stage of the year. And to finish this point and wrap it up, there are more of these picks coming for Utah that is still a part of the rebuild moving ahead. You have Tij Iginla and Caleb Denoye, both guys who were top 10 picks, and they're still part of the future that's coming, that is part of Utah's ascension.
Yeah, speaking of Tij Iginla, Mike, how about his month of November? Got healthy, and he took over the Western Hockey League Player of the Month with the Kelowna Rockets, 24 points in 13 games played. And Kelowna had a heck of a month too, Mike. They went 8-3-2, and that was after they started 4-5-2 in an October where they didn't see a lot of Tij Iginla. So congratulations, Tij Iginla, WHL Player of the Month, and we love to show his highlights here on Mammoth Daily. For those of you on the Utah Mammoth YouTube page, we'll pull this one up from over the weekend, and there he is, right there. Tij Iginla, number 11 for your Kelowna Rockets against the Tri-City Americans in the Tri-Cities in Washington over the weekend.
We gave a shout out to the broadcaster for the Kelowna Rockets because some of the goal calls for Tij Iginla are simply outstanding. Like, will wake you up out of a coma. They're that good. I'm trying to see if I can just Google his name real quick. He's got some hilarious calls. I think is it Reagan Bartel? That's the.
Oh, I've heard of him.
Yeah. 25th season
I've
calling
heard of him.
play-by-play for the Kelowna Rockets. But if you come across a Tij Iginla highlight with Kelowna, turn the volume on because Mr. Bartel can spin it, and he obviously has a ton of fun with those calls.
Yeah, he's good. I've heard of him. I've known of him for a long time. Knew he was up in the Western Hockey League, but didn't know where. Just saw the goals. Just enjoyed the highlights. Wasn't rooting for a team.
Yeah, great to see Tij. And I mean, this could be a podcast for another day too, AD. But when do we get a rule?
That's why we're here every day. That's why we're here every day, Mike, on Mammoth Daily.
That's right. Just add it to the list. When do we get the rule allowing 19-year-olds to play in the American Hockey League? Because Tij Iginla is gonna put up 1,568 points in the WHL this year, and it's not good for all 18, 19-year-olds to play against men in the AHL, but I would love to see Tij play pro hockey.
Might be a year too late to be in the AHL as a 19-year-old. Year too early, I guess it would be if everything gets sorted out and each team can have one 19-year-old playing in the AHL first rounder.
Yeah, I mean, we're partial to it, right? Because we've seen guys develop there. We know how good of a league it is. We know how good of a testing ground it is, and T just ripping it up as you would hope that he would. But that next step is going to be playing against men. So would love to see him get that test sooner than later. But boy, it's good to see him healthy out there. Good to see him producing for Kelowna, and hopefully it's another deep run for the Rockets.
Yeah, they're winning, and as I said, under 500 without Tij in the lineup, and just about as good as anybody with Tij in. So you like that, but you like that he's scoring. You like that they're winning too, because that's why we're all here.
Yeah, what's Bill Armstrong's quote? You don't have to teach a baby shark how to bite. Guys that win, like it's in their DNA, and we want winners here on Mammoth Daily, Adrian. That's why we brought you on, my friend.
They told me that that's why we brought you on board. So I guess they told us the same things.
They lied to us both.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see everybody tonight. We'll talk to everybody tonight on Hockey Night in Utah. Again, late puck drop out in Anaheim. So appreciate everybody staying up with us as the road trip continues. As bad as it's been, AD, there is still time to salvage this road trip. I mean, if you win these 3 games here, you split the road trip in half, you go 500 on it. You're looking at this saying, yeah, we're right where we want to be. We're just fine. But that starts tonight against a Ducks team that is talented, second leading scoring team in the NHL, and is going to be it's going to be a fun contest. These games between Utah and Anaheim always seem to come down to the wire, no matter who's ahead or by how much. But Adrian, any final thoughts before we get people on their way for the rest of their Wednesday?
Yeah, 4 straight games with Utah and the Ducks decided by a goal to start the season series. So they've played some good games. And Mike, I said before we even went on this trip, all I want is 6 of 12 points. So 3 of 6 is perfect. It's what I wanted all along. So let's go do it.
I wanted 7, so my Christmas is ruined. But we'll talk to everybody tonight. Have a great Wednesday. Thanks for listening to another episode of Mammoth Daily. And as always, remember to subscribe to the show wherever you are listening or watching from. Thanks, everybody.